الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله وسراجا منيرا، وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك، صلوات ربي وسلامه عليك يا رسول الله. أما بعد، يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم التنزيل بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. ويقول عز من قائل: ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Praise and glory be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most merciful, the most gracious. And peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worshipping except Allah, and that Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is his last messenger and prophet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had mentioned in the Quran what could be translated to: O who you believe, be mindful of Allah in the best way befitting for him, and never die except on the state of Islam, the state of total surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he also mentions whoever attains taqwa for Allah, whoever is God conscious, Allah will open bounties for him and her from places which they never expect. Dear brothers, dear sisters, dear elders, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala day and night for the bounty of Islam. And we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala day and night for the bounty of Iman, of our faith that dwells within our hearts, that keeps us connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our Lord and our Creator. It is one of the greatest blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gave humanity the final message of Islam, and He protected His message, the Quran, in a way that nobody can touch, because it is truly the guidance for all of humanity. We find ourselves at loss. We don't understand what's happening around us, and we yearn for somebody to tell us what's going to happen to us personally and to the Ummah. And subhanAllah, we find in the Quran the solace, we find the answers in the Quran al-Kareem. And subhanAllah, all the prophets before Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam were given certain ayat, certain miracles that convinced some of the people and some they didn't convince. Like Isa alayhi salam was given the ability through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's powers to raise people from the dead. Can you imagine if you actually see it today? But he had that ability. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him that ability. And still, with all of that, some people did not believe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَآمَنَ طَائِفَةٌ مِّن بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ وَكَفَرَتْ. Some people believed, and some people didn't believe, and they saw it in front of their eyes. These, what I consider to be physical miracles. But the physical miracles perish usually with the Prophet. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam the Quran al-Kareem that toggles the intellect of the human beings throughout time until the day of judgment. Because it has the answers to humanity's ailments. So when we see all these things happening across our nation, whether it's in Syria, or in Palestine, or in Kashmir, or even what's happening to us here in America. I mean, now we're like part of the Ummah because we are one Ummah. We're going through quite a bit of rough time. I mean, you heard about the killings that took place in Canada with people that are praying in the masajid. They came on and killed them. Mosques are being burnt almost on a weekly basis, if not even on a daily basis. We're facing a lot of tribulations. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a wisdom behind it. And we need to understand what is that wisdom and why is it that Allah wants us to go through these times. It seems that we are destined as an ummah to not wake up until somebody pushes us. That's kind of the way it is. We'll be in nice, somber sleep, and then something comes along and pushes us to actually awaken. And don't wait for the leader to come, right? Don't wait that, we're going to have somebody, Mahdi. The idea of the Mahdi is going to come and he's going to move us all and we're going to be victorious. Mahdi is not going to come like that. There has to be things that we need to do to get done, right? We talk about Salah ad-Din, right? Everybody talks Salah ad-Din brought back Bayt al-Maqdis, brought back Jerusalem. But what we don't know is almost 3 generations before Salah ad-Din, before he got there, the whole idea started in Al-Mosul with a leader there at that time. His name was Mawdud. And then part of that leadership created yet another leader, was Imad ad-Din Zinki. Part of that leadership created another leader, was Nur ad-Din Zinki. Then Salah ad-Din came. So it takes time. So what's happening right now is actually a push in the right direction. And you say, Muhammad, what are you talking about? Say, yes, it is a push in the right direction because the Muslim Ummah is waking up and realizing what ails it. And it takes time. Yes, it takes time because we have been sleeping for a long time, brothers and sisters. We have. We have to actually admit that fact. And some of us are still sleeping. And some who are trying to wake up, but they don't know what to do, and they're bombarded all over the place. The main thing that we need to understand is that the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the truth. And we need to tell our children and their children that their time will come. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Al-Imran, He says, الذين قال لهم الناس إن الناس قد جمعوا لكم فاخشوهم. Those people that came to the rest of the folks and said, people are plotting against you. So be afraid. Be very, very afraid. The ayat continues, says فَزَادَهُمْ إِيمَانًا. Subhanallah, when the believers, when the ones that understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's message and Allah's sunnah, Allah's ways in creating change, when they see these times that we are going through, they understand that this is the prophetic model. So their iman increases because they know that only good things, inshallah, will come after all this time. And maybe we're going to go through more difficult times before we get there. But here, the Quran says, these people are telling us, the believers, be very, very afraid. And here I need to also differentiate. Because fear will come into our hearts, right? Because we know, we fear for our children. We fear for our mosques. We fear for our future. So we need to really have a little bit of vigilance. But what we don't need to have is crippling fear, where we don't do we stop doing anything anymore. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Musa alayhi salam and his brother Harun to Fir'aun, what did he tell them? He said, قَالَ لَا تَخَافَا إِنِّي مَعَكُمَا أَسْمَعُ وَأَرَى. He said, don't be afraid. I am with you, I see and I hear. So just the mere fact that he told them, don't be afraid, it means that they had some fear. And it's okay to be afraid. I'm not here telling you, oh, don't be afraid, everything will be happy. No. Be vigilant. But don't let the fear take over your life, where you're crippled and you change your life and you lose your iman. That's what we don't want to happen, because we know the people who have iman, their iman will increase. The continuation of the ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقَالُوا حَسْبُنَا اللَّهُ وَنِعْمَ الْوَكِيلُ. And they said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala truly is the one sufficient for us, and He is the best of protectors. A beautiful supplication that Ibrahim alayhi salam said when he was being catapulted into the fire at the age of 17, naked, sent over the air to assure death in the fire. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He heard these words coming out of him, because he said these words, He summoned to him Jibreel alayhi salam, an archangel, to say, what can I do for you? Do you need me? And Ibrahim alayhi salam said, from you I need nothing, but from Allah I need everything. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered his prayers, and He said, قَالَ يَا نَارُ on Ibrahim. So subhanAllah, the answer comes quickly if we have patience and if we have true tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, true dependence on Allah. Ni'mal wakeel. But we have to have that level of iman. Because a lot of us, even though we haven't been through a lot of bad times, but I think of the people of Syria, they've been going through it for 5 years. And they're still going through it. And some people might ask, when is the Nasr? When are we going to get some relief? And subhanAllah, this is where التمعن and really looking at the ayat al-Quran is so important to understand the true meaning of this life that we live in. When we read the Quran, sometimes we read it, but we don't really understand. And subhanAllah, the Quran al-Kareem, I digress a little bit. The Quran al-Kareem is the only book in the world that is read without understanding. And this is not on any brothers that don't speak Arabic, because some of the people that speak Arabic even don't understand, because they don't have that tama'un, understanding and deep understanding. التدبر, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Quran touches your heart. So I encourage each and every one of us, when we read the Quran, to have tadabbur, to truly understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. So let's go to different ayat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Al-Ra'd. And He mentions these ayat in multiple times with different endings, but it's very, very similar. So when you read it, it feels like you're reading the same thing. Allah says in the Quran, فَإِمَّا نُرِيَنَّكَ بَعْضَ الَّذِي نَعِدُهُمْ أَوْ نَتَوَفَّيَنَّكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that we either going to show you some of the things that we have promised them, talking about the kuffar, or we will take you away, we will actually cause you to die. فَإِلَيْنَا مَرْجِعُهُمْ ثُمَّ اللَّهُ شَهِيدٌ عَلَى مَا يَفْعَلُونَ. So their end will be in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's hand. And then another ayat He says, فَإِنَّمَا عَلَيْكَ الْبَلَاغُ وَعَلَيْنَا الْحِسَابُ. Truly your duty is to deliver the message, and we will take care of the accountability. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is. But what I want to actually kind of talk about is, here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to the Prophet. And he said, we'll either show you some of the things that we are promising them, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised the ones who fight him that he will defeat them. كتب الله لأغلبن أنا ورسلي. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I will be victorious, me and the prophets will be victorious. That is Allah's decree, it's an axiom. So either we show you this victory or you might die and never see it. Alhamdulillah, Prophet Muhammad Nasr saw some of the victory of his ummah. Some prophets never saw it. But what does that tell me? It tells me that the test even is for the prophet. Because he doesn't know what the outcome is. Although he has been given so much knowledge, he was taken up to the seventh heaven, but he was not given all the knowledge. So even Muhammad ﷺ and the prophets, they don't know. So what about us? Compare us. So if we know the answers to the test, does it become a test? The test is over. If you know what's going to happen, if you know the results of the test, are you still in the test? No. We are in the test. That's the way you have to understand it. That even the Prophet did not really know. Remember when the Battle of Badr, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was, we're going through a very rough time, the Muslims, the Prophet raised his hand and he said, oh Allah, if these people, if these Muslims, these early believers, they were defeated, you will never be worshipped on earth. Now, Muhammad, if he knew that they will be victorious, he's not thinking, we're just going to go through the motions. But no, even Muhammad was going through the test. Everybody, even Jibreel alayhi salam, is going through a test as well. Because Jibreel, he knows, but there are certain things that he doesn't know. Remember when Prophet Muhammad went up to the seventh heaven and he reached an area, Jibreel could not pass. Muhammad passed, but Jibreel could not pass. So there are still things that are alam al-ghayb, even for the angels. There's always limits. So the ayat in the Quran tells us that we are going through a test. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. We will test you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, He will test us. If you want to come in slowly, inshallah, because mashallah, there's a lot of folks. So that is the true nature of this dunya. If we understand the nature of the dunya, then we can actually live a much happier people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making us go through this to wake us up and to show us that now you are going through the test. And look at some of the good things that are actually coming out of it. One is now as American Muslims, we have a very nice platform with everything that's happening around Trump and the Muslim ban and all that stuff that's happening. We have a platform. People are actually coming to Islam in droves because they're coming and trying to understand what is this Islam all about. And it's amazing that 68% of the people entering into Islam are women. And people say, Islam is very hard on women, and that's all. So why? Because I go back to the original ayah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His miracle, which is the Quran, it talks to the intellect. The more you are intellectual, the more you understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's word. And the more you can connect with Him, because everything else is fluff. But when you read the Quran, you see heavy. And the more you dig into it, the more you get out of it. So good things are actually happening. Another thing that's really good happening is, alhamdulillah, with all the hate and vitriol happening, there are good American people, white and Hispanic and you name it, coming out and supporting us. 3 weeks ago, I was given the khutbah in Riverside, and there was droves of people just coming to say, we're supporting you. And that's fantastic, because there's goodness in the American people, because they understand that we, as believers, as Muslims, believe in the same values. Who believes in freedom more than we do? Freedom is one of the essence of Sharia. Now I said the bad word, right? Yeah, Sharia law. But it is. Sharia came to actually give people freedom. When the early Muslims went out and started freeing people, and the people of Rome, the Roman Empire, said, "What brought you out here?" They told them, "أتينا لنخرج العباد من عبادة العباد لعبادة رب العباد." We came to free people from bondage and from being slaves to people to being slaves to the one true God. That's what Islam is. So we believe in these values: freedom, liberty, truth. All of these things are Muslim things. So that's why we have a nice place and a pulpit to stand on. The other thing that's also wonderful that's taken place is that leaderships from amongst us, non-traditional leaderships, are popping up. Because sometimes, when you talk about, Muslim leaders, it's got to be the guy with the kufi, long beard, that's kind of what we think of a sheikh. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now is giving us different leaders and actually standing up and really making a difference. Have you heard about the march, the women march on Washington, D.C.? One of the leading people that actually made this happen and organized it is a Muslim lady called Linda Sarsour. She's an American Muslim from Brooklyn, from Palestinian heritage. And mashallah, she is a giant. She's a leader in her own right. So Allah is telling us something, right? That our sisters are standing up and taking leadership position. Here in Southern California, Sister Dunya Ramadan in the Inland Empire, she's also part of LA Resist, and so many more. I named these two because, I know one of them personally, but there are so many more. So alhamdulillah, young leaders are thrusted from amongst us, which is fantastic. So all of these things that are happening, inshallah, we'll want a little bit more. Come on in, because mashallah, there's a lot of folks coming in. So all of these things that are happening are actually signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to change our situation. And He gave us the formula. The formula is very, very clear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He talks about how we change, He says, بَلْ نَقْذِفُ بِالْحَقِّ عَلَى الْبَاطِلِ فَيَدْمَغُ فَإِذَا هُوَ زَاهِقٌ. That the way we do change is we basically put out the truth on top of falsehood. And again, the Lugha al-Arabiya, the Arabic language is fantastic, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, نَقْذِفُ بِالْحَقِّ عَلَى الْبَاطِلِ. And He used the word نَقْذِفُ. He didn't say, narmi, or we throw. He said نَقْذِفُ. نَقْذِفُ comes from the word قَذَفَ. And really sometimes, don't get scared, but when we say, somebody is sending a bomb, we say قَذِيفَ, right? And the reason why we say قَذِيفَ, or we use that verb, is because it's directed and it's focused. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us here that when you are putting out the truth, make sure that it's calculated and in its place. Because sometimes we try to say the right thing, but it comes out wrong. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that if you want change to happen, make sure that your response is very well thought out and sent appropriately to the right people. And we send it right on top of falsehood, because always the truth will overtake falsehood. Dear brothers and sisters, don't despair. Don't feel that these are just bad times and things are going to get worse. They might, but it doesn't matter. Why? Because we are believers and we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control, and He will change things, inshallah, for the better if we take our responsibilities. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us take our rightful place in America. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enlighten our hearts and enlighten our tongues and enlighten our brains so that we can represent His deen in the best way possible. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه كان غفارا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. عباد الله، إن الله أمركم بأمر عظيم ابتدأ به بنفسه ثنى بملائكة القدس حيث قال: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات المؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآخر الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.